Okay, so one of the cooler features that Endo 2 is capable of is converting normal maps into ambient occlusion, cavity maps, bump and specular, and all sorts of other sort of maps. So what we're going to do is create a cavity map and a ambient occlusion map. So first thing we want to do is collapse our... Actually, we don't even need to. We'll do it for both the this normal map and the scratch map. So we have a greater degree of control over the final effect. So firstly, well, since we don't need that or that, we'll bring Endo 2 back up, and instead of going convert, we want to go convert down here, which brings up this sort of dialog box. First thing we'll do is make a cavity map. So click on cavity and go active document, which means it'll take the document that's currently in the viewport. So just wait for it to finish, and there it goes. Cavity map doesn't take long to generate, it's almost instant. And as you can see, it's a almost very toned down bump map. And what it's used for is to sort of sharpen the edges of a normal map. I'll give you an example. So I'll just copy the cavity map, Control-C, Control-V, paste it over our first normal map. Just call that main normal. Whoops. Main normal, and we'll call the scratch map scratch map. Right. So yeah, so we'll just take cavity map, make it an overlay, and if I zoom in and toggle it on and off, you can see the difference, and everything is much more pronounced. Essentially, if you do this on a low res texture, it'll make it seem not as low res. Everything just looks a lot nicer and a lot sharper. I usually keep it at around 50 to 70% opacity. You don't want it to be too strong. So yeah, we'll do the same thing to our scratch map. So we'll unhide that, hide everything else. Make sure it's on normal first, otherwise something might go wrong. Same process, convert, cavity map, active document. And there we go. And now we have that stuff. So copy that or copy that over, make it an overlay, and we'll give it 70%. Oops, go away. And we'll see how that looks. So if we zoom in and toggle it, yeah, that looks much better. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to collapse those together. So select the scratch map, cavity and normal, merge those, and we'll unhide our, well, we'll do the same, we can collapse those as well. So now we have a much more pronounced normal map, and we'll just put that back to hard light. And we'll have a look. Yeah, it's much better. Now, what we're going to do is save this out, so we'll save that as our normal map. Okay, yes. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is first create a AO map. So we'll do it for both maps again, so we have more control. So we'll start with the main. So convert, instead of cavity we'll go AO, active doc. This one does take a little longer depending on what you've got. So if it takes too long, I'll skip ahead. No, there we go. I went faster than normal. So we'll zoom in, and we have a bit of control over how this map is working. Alright, so we have fine shadow. First I'll turn everything off so you can see what the effect is each time. So first we've got large shadow, bump that up. Pretty much gets all the large sort of crevices and all that almost like dirt has been collecting in it over a while. I'll have a look at medium. Yeah, it's sort of the same thing. You can see it's a bit sharper in the smaller areas. And fine shadow. This gets a lot more detail. So basically you want a good mix between all of them. Typically I usually get mine about 30 for fine, 50 for medium, and about 70 for large. And it normally gives me a pretty nice effect, and yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll collapse all of that. So just, merge group. Wait for it to do its thing. And we'll copy this directly into our normal PSD above that. And now we'll do the same for our scratch map. Whoops, sorry. Do that, AO, active doc. Now I think this one might be a little bit different. See, with the normal settings you can't really see much, so what I'm going to do is turn off the medium and large and bump up the fine as much as possible. Actually, I might bump up the large as well. Actually, don't just bump up everything. Actually, yeah, with everything maxed out, it's a lot easier to see. Stop chugging, you piece of crap. Alright, so I'll just collapse everything, Control-Shift-E. And copy that back in. Copy. Pasty. Okay, so now that we've done all that, I don't need Endo 2 anymore, so I'm going to close that, and close out, actually keep those. Close out those AOs, and I'll copy these diffuse maps back in. Now you don't need to do this, I just sometimes do it for added effect. Now you can run the same process on the normal map, cavity maps, on the AO as well. So I think I'll do that. So get this overlay, and it does the same sort of effect. Only this time I'll put it back to 50%. Overlay, 50%, then I'll merge those, merge, and then I'll blend these together. So on the scratch map I'll make that a multiply, and I'll bring its opacity to about 60. Maybe 70. 60 looks good. So with that done, we'll merge that and save that out as a new map. TGA, we'll call this just wall_1 AO. That's done. And I'll make that back to hardline. And there we go. Now we have 3, I think. No, piss off, bridge. Don't want you. Nobody likes you. Alright, so now we have 3 final maps. Got our AO, our normal, and our SplatMap. And now we're ready for importation into UDK. So stay tuned and we'll cover that in the next lesson.